I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the dream.
Look at your tag. Anybody with 60O? 60O. There should be a whole bunch. 60O. Electrical project.
We don't seem to do a lot of, we do all the wiring in these places, and then we don't think about talking to the government about leaving somebody there who may want to become a maintenance person.
Absolutely. We did that in New Orleans.
This is our medical clinic right
Medical
here.
clinic, see? Got a medical clinic.
It's all public community.
Mainly the homeless. That's
Yeah.
who we mainly serve is the homeless. So that's our
That's
Okay,
your
that's
base.
your goal. That's
yes,
your
I
goal.
go to help people with their medical issues, dental issues, and any other like behavioral health issues, drug treatment, any substance abuse treatment, helping with housing, clothing.
Transitioning back into the community.
Exactly.
So Ewmc coming in to help to do this service for you is a benefit, huh?
Yes.
And we didn't tell her to say that, Mike.
And so we provide a safe, structural environment where we get clients acclimated to rules and regulations.
Okay.
Structure.
Man, he had me talking.
Because most clients who come in, they've kind of been doing all they want to do, whenever they want to do it, and they don't seem to have any barriers. They don't have any accountability of right and wrong, or healthy lifestyle. And so what we do, we provide that housing that provides them structure.
Little brown building that you can see on the left-hand side. I think that's the building.
Yeah.
I think that's 4065. But that's the new District of Columbia Office of Employment Services building. You know what the emphasis is? Almost like it was back in the day, moving federal government mainstays in the city, like the FBI. You know, they built a new headquarters out in West Virginia somewhere. This, on a city level, the city is starting to move their departments from downtown, which is across the river, out into the wards. This is the first example. This is the first example. This is the first major department that's out here in where the people are.
This one here?
This is it right here. So if you could drop us off, we'll run in here and see what old Danny is doing.
I've learned 3 ways, 4 ways, single pose.
That's good.
Like I was changing how I am today. You know what I mean? Like,
Good for you. Under supervision though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You don't want to do it by yourself.
Nah, not yet.
You gotta have a buddy there, yeah.
Yeah, not yet. Give me a.
But let me just suggest that apprenticeship is probably, there's another phase to it where you have to not only see, you may be good with your hand and eye, and you may be good in learning through visual observation, but you're going to need to be able to deal with the academic piece, because the academic piece is what's tripping our young people up, especially young men of color. Things like math reasoning, word reasoning. So if you're good with your hands, concentrate on getting that other piece, because you don't want to get into the apprenticeship program then fail.
We go through all that and stuff.
The first real test is going to be, when you go there, you're going to have to give them $20 to take their general aptitude test. If you score a 4 or higher on a scale of 1 to 9, you'll be interviewed. If you score below 4, you will never be interviewed. If you're not interviewed, you can't become an apprentice. And they'll give you an opportunity, I think at least twice, to take that aptitude test. So that's what I want you to work on. Your math, reasoning, go back to the library, do whatever you got to do. So when you go in there, you'll hit that test, make at least a 4 or 5 or higher. You get an interview good, and you may get a postcard saying you were accepted to the apprenticeship. You got to have at least a year of algebra.
So as part of that celebration, as part of the King legacy, he believed very strongly in community service. So unlike a lot of the other IBW events we go to, we always go out and do community service on this. And the other thing, and this is a treat for me today, we're getting the opportunity to teach some students in the area to do some hands-on electrical work. So we're killing 2 or 3 birds with one.
My name's Samantha Newman. I attend some CET.
Working talk.
Building maintenance service technician. I just installed a digital thermostat.
Digital thermostat, is it working?
Yes, indeed.
How do you know?
You see those things, those numbers up there?
All right, then that's what I'm talking about. You know it's working.
Yeah.
All right, then.
This is a family that lives here. And
Oh, wait, are you interviewing us too?
Yeah,
If you got something to say, I want to hear. How you feel about the EWMC coming to help you out?
I'm so happy that they're helping Shalana out. It is wonderful. It really shows how you work hard for the people who need it, and we appreciate
Now,
that.
did they take care of those small concerns that you had, like the plugs and the switches and things of that nature?
Yes, they
The
do.
first caucus, Minority Caucus, I think it's great. Lots of beautiful people here from all over the United States. Lots of brothers and sisters, local union workers.
What do you think you gained from this?
I'm gaining a lot. I'm getting a network with some really good people, learning that they come from different backgrounds, a variety of people truly believe in what we do. Great volunteer organization.
Did you do any volunteer work today as far as jobs?
Yes, I went to Jubilee Jobs and spoke about my experiences as an electrician, how I got to come here, how I got where I'm at today, and also made some reference phone calls for them, check references for people applying for positions with Jubilee Jobs.
I heard we had a good active morning. Hi, everybody. I see you all. No, I didn't see you this morning. So we had a good active morning. Good, good.
No injuries,
They
right?
pulled a trick on me. You know, they were going to bring me around, but they never planned for me to get out the hotel. What's happening here?
But everything went well. Everything
Good,
went well.
that's good.
So it was well organized.
Yeah, they orchestrated this thing this morning. They made it work.
Yeah, we were over there working on like.
Well, how many of you, it's your first time to the EWMC? Robbie here has realized that she can't stay here forever, and neither is anybody in the officer's position in the EWMC. So they need to train us to be qualified officers, and we need to step up as young workers in the trade union and within the EWMC and learn those positions and become active in organizations that we belong to.
I'm only 24, but I joined the IBW when I was maybe 3 years old. I've been an IBW member for over 44 years. And always remember that the people who you're taking their place, that they used to be you. I used to be you guys. And the thing is doing something. And it's not so much that old people are afraid. But we get so tired of y'all telling us what you're gonna do and you don't do it. So that's one of the reasons we won't let go. Sometimes we work very, very hard to build. And we want you guys to come and take it over. It's time. It's your time. So what we like to see is come and take it. You can have it. I would do everything I can to make you happy, but you must have a plan. Don't expect for me just to walk away from something that I've dedicated my life to, and you don't have a plan to take it to tomorrow.
After World War II, we had a rich labor history, and I was so proud to be a part of this union. But when I got to the door, the sergeant at arms looked at my dues receipt, and then he looked at me, and he looked at the dues receipt, and then he tore it up, pushed me to the side, and there was a line of other folk that he wanted to let in. And I didn't know what to, I was shocked. Of course, I was the only person of color in the line that was waiting to get in. I was the only young person. And I went downstairs to the business office and I said, something is odd. The sergeant at arms tore up my dues receipt. Well, this is a time in the 70s, believe it or not, where the IBW is still struggling with issues of diversity and inclusion.
They do now. They're still struggling.
And they're still struggling.
They're still struggling.
And it took somebody else to come to say, you know what, talk to the sergeant at arms and say, you will let him in. And when I went to the door, they said, okay, you're in, good luck, you know. And there were older folk in that room, and I heard two of them say, hey, Fred, are we letting in Chinese now? And I looked around, and because I'm Japanese, and I was a little bit, looked around for the Chinese, and I said, oh my goodness, they're talking about me. So I sat down and I said, I worked hard. I'd gone to UC Berkeley and I struggled hard to get into this apprenticeship program. And I thought, what kind of union did I join? I'd worked with the farm workers and been a member of the newspaper guild. I thought I knew what a union was. I thought it was workers joining together for a common cause. And I was thinking, well, maybe my mom was right. Maybe I should have finished my degree over at UC Berkeley. But what happened was, in that union meeting, there was a floor fight that broke out. And it was whether or not the union was going to donate $100 to the farm workers. And in that floor fight, there were good trade unionists who stood up and said, we've got to support the farm workers in their organizing effort. It's the right thing to do. And there were others, like the guy that wouldn't let me in the door, who said, Cesar Chavez is a communist. We're not going to give him any money. We shouldn't give him any money. And this fight broke out. And actually what happened was it instructed me that this was a place worth fighting with and for, because the good trade unionists won in that fight to say, yes, we will give money to the farm workers. And so unionists really reflect society. And our IBW is one of those unions that has a history, and we're still struggling over full inclusion and diversity, that we've struggled a long time. And as an individual, I learned a lot. And as young people, you will learn a lot because we have come a long way and we have a long ways to go. The beauty of our EWMC, because when I found out about the EWMC and I went to my first conference, I was just a rank and file worker, and I said, my goodness, there are people in this room that look like me, that have the same values as I do, as social justice and civil rights. These are good people here. And from that moment on, I knew that I had a home in the EWMC.
A sign-up sheet going around. Please put your name, your local, and your telephone.
Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton.
You said you wanted me to speak about what it will take for the Democrats to get their house in order and prevail in the 2012 elections. I mean, that is a subject that should be the underlying subject of, in every union hall, wherever progressive Democrats meet, and to be candid with you, wherever the diminishing middle class of the United States of America meets. And the economy we had been living off of for 20 years, I have a word to say about that economy, raised expectations about what the president should have been able to do in the first 2 years. And if this were a, quote, ordinary recession, we would have sprung back more quickly. We have yet to face the structural change that has occurred in the American economy and in the world economy. We are not alone. We in this country have yet to face 20 years of living not off of an economy fueled by people with skills like you, but fueled almost entirely with bubbles. Most of the time we lived off the housing bubble. And that's why drove the economy into the ground in the first place. Because that bubble didn't have anything under it. There was the IT bubble. Do you remember that bubble? It was fueled by consumer spending.